Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is the US Futures weekly chart analysis for the week ending 21st of February 2025. Just quickly, I'll be away interstate for 2 weeks from tomorrow, Sunday. I'll continue to produce the ASX daily update each day. However, there won't be any weekly chart analysis for this period, for the 2 weeks, unless there's some really serious event which I feel needs some form of comment, and I'll just grab some charts online somewhere. But apart from that, it'll be 2 weeks before I do any more weekly chart analysis. First chart is the US dollar index futures, and I'm using this chart at the moment with colours on it so that you can more clearly see where the market is trading at the moment. There is a long-term trading range in green with the highs of the range in a slightly darker green, and a resistance zone above where the market's come up and tested it previously and didn't really have enough force or effort to push up into that zone and subsequently came back down. The market traded slightly lower this week, but with a reluctance to move lower. There was an attempt for the market to consolidate and absorb the supply being drawn out. You can see that volume was quite low this week and reduced, so selling pressure wasn't really strong. The lows of the range really come through here. So at this point, the market is back in consolidation mode. It's trading right back at the highs of the old trading range. There's been a pullback and the market is threatening a minor breakdown at this level. But the really serious level to watch is this level just below 106 in here. A break below that level would really see prices begin to decline. Apart from that, in here, there's a chance for the market to recover and consolidate in here. E-mini S&P, this is S&P 500 index futures. Highs of the range come through here. You see the market's made numerous attempts to push through the highs of the range and have been unable to do so far. After this attempt, the market spent 2 weeks in consolidation mode. Then there was a weak attempt to move higher on below average volume. This was a lack of demand for the upside. And this week markets pulled back again, but on reduced volume again, even lower volume and well below the average. So it wasn't an active selling event. The market really saw a lack of demand for the upside and price just drifted lower in response. This is the important level here. Obviously the highs of the range. You've got numerous support levels below or potential support levels below. If that level there got broken, that would be a bit more serious, possibly even this level. But at this point, there is support expected in this zone here. So if price does pull back, there should be moderate support available to the market. US Treasury 10-year note futures. This market closed higher this week on an increase in volume. You can see there was some testing for supply below the previous bar's close, and then a push higher in response. Overall, this market appears to be absorbing its way through this resistance level. It's perhaps some form of bullish absorption, although we'll see as that develops. But at this point, the market does appear to be absorbing its way through this previous breakdown line, and it's doing a pretty good job so far. There is some intent behind the trading. You can see that volumes are at or slightly above average as price pushes higher. So the market is actively absorbing supply and pushing higher in response. Copper price futures. Copper price futures pulled back to consolidate this week. You had a period back here where the market was in consolidation mode and building up some strength. There was a push higher in response, and then a period of consolidation which followed through here. A subsequent push higher in response. Next level comes through here. The market pushed higher last week, but did draw out some supply and pulled back to consolidate this week and closed pretty much at the important level around the $4.60. So that's pretty good. Volume was much reduced this week as price pulled back. That should open the door for an attempt to push higher if trading conditions are favourable next week. Gold price futures. Gold price futures pushed out of their range back here and have been absorbing their way high for a number of weeks. Last week we had a questionable bar. It could have been an absorption bar or it could have been weakness being drawn out. And this week price pretty much just pushed higher. There was hardly even any testing for supply below the previous bar's close. It just pushed higher. And that suggests that last week's bar was absorption. That was the buyers buying the supply from the sellers. And it's effectively cleared a path higher, which this week's bar has moved into. So you can see that it's traded pretty much within the range of the previous bar. Last week absorbed the supply, which reduced the supply in the market within that level. And this week the market has taken up that level and pushed up to its highs. So that's good 2-week period of buying support and absorption in the market. And this market continues to show a positive influence, which is a buy the dips mentality in the market. And it's showing no sign of any serious supply being drawn out at the moment. So I would expect that positive nature to continue. Silver price futures. Silver price futures have the highs of the range come through here and the highs of the overall range go through there. You can see price pushed higher there. Spent 1 week in consolidation mode. Last week attempted to push higher but drew out supply up here. And this week the market's moved into absorption mode, attempting to absorb the supply being drawn out within this bar's range. And that's effectively what's happened. Volume reduced, so selling pressure reduced. And I would expect this market, it may test for supply early, but I think it will attempt to push higher in response within this bar's range. So in this range here, if trading conditions are favourable next week, and especially if gold continues higher, I think this market can push up towards the 34 level. Like crude price futures have shown a reluctance to move lower more recently. You can see that in here. Market could have continued to really accelerate lower, but it hasn't done so. This is absorption taking place. Lows of the range through there, highs of the range there, which also form the lows of the range above, which comes through here. And you can see that the market is finding some support adjacent to this long period of consolidation in the background. There's a reluctance to move lower. This is buying support coming in to some degree. You may see the market move back up towards the highs of this range in the mid-70s, or you might just see price continue sideways, sort of between the $70 and $73. The volume has reduced considerably over the past 2 weeks, which suggests that selling pressure has reduced. There's no huge demand in the market, but what supply has been drawn out appears to have been absorbed by the buyers at this stage. Into the currencies now. This is the Euro-US dollar currency pair. Here's the lows of the range through here. There was a reluctance to move lower here and a nice response. Price came back, tested this level for strength, and then responded again last week. And this week has pretty much moved into consolidation mode at the highs of last week's bar. It's not particularly strong, but it's certainly showing that the market is strong enough to hold these lows at the moment around the 103-ish level. So you've got the next level just above through there. The market's just absorbed supply below that level, possibly just marking time, waiting to see what the US dollar is going to do. The US dollar does move lower. I expect this market will make an attempt to push higher. And if the US dollar trades sideways, you'll get a sideways bar in this market as well. British pound currency futures. The lows of the range come through here. This is where the market showed some serious weakness a few weeks back. There was a reluctance to move lower over these two bars, and some buying support came in here. Here was the response to that buying support, and then a test for supply, a bit of a shakeout, and then a push higher in response. There's a level that goes through there like that. Price moved up to that last week, and similar to the euro, but perhaps a little stronger, this market has traded in consolidation mode this week, absorbing supply at the highs of the range, and it's leaving it in position to push a little higher if there's any weakness in the US dollar, or test for supply if the US dollar continues to be soft. Japanese yen currency futures. Back down here, we saw a little period of consolidation and building of strength. A modest breakout here, a period of absorption as the market pushed higher. Price really accelerated here, tested for supply in response, and pushed higher again this week. You've got a level that goes right through there, where support was found back here, support was found here, and then a breakdown, a push up to this line, an inability to recover, and a push lower in response. Now the market's back up to this level this week, and it's popped its head just above it. I expect there'll be some work to be done around this level in consolidation mode prior to any further attempt to push higher. So you'd probably expect some testing for supply and perhaps some absorption bars in here. Looks something like this. And then if there's continuing strength in the market, perhaps an attempt to push higher. Aussie dollar currency futures. This market came down pretty quickly to the important 62 cent level. And then there's been pretty good support in the market. There was a threat of a breakdown here, but market recovered pretty quickly. It's been tested again since. There was a recovery again. Similar to the euro and the British pound, this market has traded in consolidation mode this week. There was a lack of demand for higher prices. You see volume was reduced and below the average as price tried to push higher. There was a lack of broad support for higher prices here, but the trading all occurred in the top of this bar, and that suggests there is moderate strength in the market, certainly not any severe weakness, but there's no great demand for higher prices here, which suggests that the market is probably going to trade in this area here above the 62, but below the highs of the range which come through there. Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin futures continue to trade sideways in consolidation mode. You've got the lows of the range through here, highs of the range up here. And there's been weakness drawn out both times the market's attempted to break out. So the market's pulled back towards the lows of the range and it's been trading in consolidation mode ever since, which is a good move. The market has drawn out supply when prices attempted to break out from this level. So in response, the market's pulled back. It threatens the sellers to some degree, although the volume suggests that they are not selling down here. So it's possible that someone's selling a position up here. At this point, supply has reduced considerably over the last few weeks, and that opens the door for an attempt to push higher in response when trading conditions are more favourable. The really important thing is what's going to happen when price attempts to break out above this level. Normally what you would see is price pull back, show that selling pressure has reduced, absorb any supply, and that would open a path of least resistance to the upside. But if the market's not chasing price down and the supply remains above, as soon as there's an attempt up there, the supply will be drawn out again. But that remains to be seen. We'll just have to wait for price to make an attempt to push higher and track the volume at that stage. Okay, just back to the US dollar index futures quickly. Here's the normal chart. You can see price did trade mostly within the range of the previous bar last week, and it's closed almost adjacent to the previous bar's close. I expect the market, this is showing a reluctance to move lower, and that supply has dried up to some degree. The important levels down here, so the market may just attempt to consolidate in here for a period prior to any attempt to push higher or for price to break down. So we'll just see how price goes. We'll just see how this market goes. I think it's most likely that the market will attempt to consolidate probably above the 106 level, at least in the near term. A clear break and close below the lows of the range in here would really open the door for a more serious push lower. But at this stage, the market looks like it's attempting to consolidate above the 106. And it'll probably take some sort of catalyst for price to break down further. We'll see what happens. Okay, thanks for your time. Remembering that for the next 2 weeks, I won't be here, and I'll only really do some analysis, weekly analysis, if something really serious happens and I feel it needs some form of comment. Apart from that, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be interstate, away from my desk, and unable to do some updates. Okay, thanks for your time. See you in 3 weeks. See ya.